But there's no correlation between body count and the last time someone hooked up with somebody. So those are two different things.
Those are two different things. But
and I think that's
it's related to promiscuity to some degree. If a girl hasn't had sex in 3 years, it's plausible.
She could have fucked 50 guys 3 years ago.
It's plausible that she was
But there's a girl who just
hadn't
slept with someone last week. Which one would you prefer? The girl who slept with 50 guys 3 years ago, or the girl who slept with someone last week?
Hypothetical comparison situation.
Wait, can you answer that one?
What's the two?
So would you rather sleep with a girl who slept with over 50 guys 3 years ago? Or would you rather sleep with the girl who has a body count of like 5, say, but she slept with someone last week?
Can you answer that?
That's a tough one.
Chat answer too.
Chat.
Puffy. I think that's valid though, right? Like,
yes.
Like,
no, I'm actually curious what people have to say about that one.
I totally get like wanting to have a woman with a low body count. That's not.
They're both
a problem.
undesirable. They're both undesirable scenarios. Let's say that. Which one do I prefer? I don't know.
I say 5 more.
Okay.
Wait, 5?
Yeah.
So 5.
So the one that last week.
Okay.
But she only has 5 bodies versus
the one who has 50 bodies but hasn't slept with anyone in 3 years.
Correct.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards she slept with it, but it's still not a desirable scenario.
No.
Okay, you fucked a guy a day ago.
See, and you guys, that's just not right thinking though.
What do you mean? It's not. What do you mean?
Because like if you're trying to, you guys say that you use this knowledge to try to like show the future of how like your relationship is, how type of woman she is.
Yep.
But say the woman who slept with 50 people over 3+ years ago, right? She went through the self-realization. She realized, oh no, I messed up. Like I shouldn't have been doing that. I know my self-worth now. I know I only want to give myself to like, a worthy man. Versus the woman who just slept with someone a week ago and has 5 bodies. What if she gained all those 5 bodies all last week? I never said that.
Oh, no,
so what if she just started her train? So it's like, that's all my point is, you can't use these things as end all be all. You need to talk to who you're with, and
look, we can come up with these hypothetical scenarios.
But you guys are trying to like be like, yeah, she has over 3 bodies, she's a hoe. It's like, no, like there's many different things that go into it. So
okay, and various guys have different thresholds for what they deem to be a high body count. We can make up these hypothetical scenarios. Ultimately, though, what I would say, generally speaking, is most men would prefer women with lower body counts. The lower, the better. The closer to 0, the better.
I feel like a woman with a higher body count might make a man feel degraded, if that makes any sense at all. How so? If like a woman had slept with 50 people and then goes and sleeps with another man, makes it 51. Like, how is the, like, I don't know.
Well, it's also like kind of to your point. I think that you're just, okay, I'm number 51.
Yeah.
Why didn't it work for the previous 50 guys? Was there like what's going on there? And then also, I mean, I do think when it comes to significant others, you do want, and maybe this is going to sound corny, I think for both men and women, you do want to be special to your significant other.
Absolutely.
And if you've had 50, 100 prior sexual partners, I think you've kind of detached intimacy from sex. 100%. Sex is just sport fucking to you. It's just like a handshake. Mm-hmm. It doesn't, you've to some degree detached the intimacy component to sex. And again, maybe this sounds corny, but like for me, I don't really have an interest in sleeping with a girl one time. Like if I have sex with a girl, I want there to be continuity. I want to continue seeing her. To me, people who sport fuck, okay, let me just try to hook up with a bunch of girls. Frankly, I don't see the point. I don't think it's an intelligent or smart way to move as a man. So especially if you're on your purpose and you're trying to, do something with your life, just hooking up with a bunch of random girls and never talking to them again, I think that's an L. Sorry, I got tongue-tied there. I think you should try to develop relationships with women and not just use them for sex and, discard them once you've gotten what you've gotten. I think if you choose to sleep with a woman, you should try to pursue something. So
I do think it says a lot about your morals and your values too, on an extent, like to an extreme extent. There, of course, are those outliers, like you said, the theoretical woman that had a very promiscuous past and has, either come to some sort of religion and had a change of heart or some other circumstance in their life. Of course, there are those people, but there's not like a huge amount of them compared to with that past that have come to like a huge change of heart, like a drastic change of heart. A lot of them continue with those types of habits.
Fair, but I see a lot of women, especially on social media now, they're coming forward a lot saying especially with this whole empowerment thing we're seeing within feminism, a lot of girls who are teens, early 20s, college, they felt empowered by sleeping with multiple men or doing things like that, and then they get to their late 20s or early 30s and they realize, oh, I was just doing those things to fill a void and actually got nothing off of it, and they do change. And I feel like if anything, it's more women who will come to that realization than men would that are promiscuous in that way.
100%.
But it overall breaks down to what I said in the beginning. That's why you just need to shoot in your league. If you are a girl with 100 bodies, you best be dating a man who has over 100 bodies. Like it's that is the truth. I will admit that in a relationship, for it to work, I do believe the woman has to have a smaller body count than the man. Yeah. But I don't think it has to be under 10. That's what I'm saying. Like it's relative to the man's body count.
No.
Hers has to be less, but it doesn't have to be 3% of his body count. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do agree with that, but I think that like the way that we phrase it a lot of the times in terms of saying like, oh, body count doesn't matter, it shouldn't matter.
It matters.
It absolutely does matter, but by saying and like bringing up the arguments for like it not mattering or like trying to justify it, basically gives people an incentive to participate in it when it does not add any sort of value to your life to like have a high body count or participate in hookup culture. It adds no value to your life long term. And eventually just hurts you in your personal relationships.
It's only a very small percent of people who find, especially women who just find pleasure in just having casual sex. Yeah. I think there's more women who are trying to convince themselves that they feel that way. So I do agree that a lot of women are hurting themselves by participating in this, 100%. But I don't think that it's fair to say that all men want virgins or all men want women with only 3+ bodies, because that's just simply not true. A lot of men don't care as much as you make it seem. If it was true, then we wouldn't see all these porn stars wifed up. We wouldn't see all these strippers getting, and I'm not even saying by like low men. We see billionaires taking strippers out of the strip club and putting a ring on their finger. So it's not all men that care about body count. Or Drake's baby mama wouldn't be a prostitute.
Yeah, I'm not saying all men, but I think the majority of men, even if they don't want to recognize it or don't upfront know about their conscious or it's an unconscious bias that they have against it. I told my boyfriend I was going to bring this up at some point because it was a really great argument that or conversation I had with him. He had previously dated somebody or a girl with a body count of roughly 40, and he essentially said that he didn't care about it. And then I proceeded to have a conversation with him about it, and he kind of backtracked and said, oh, well, because she told me her body count was that high, I proceeded to not take the relationship seriously.
So he did care.
Exactly. Yeah. So he did care. He didn't realize that he actually cared, but...
Is his body count under 40?
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. But, a man who has a body count of, say, 60 or 80 or whatever probably doesn't care about her 40. Because I've met guys, too. It's like my friend, he said the same thing. He was dating a girl who had a body count of around 30, and his was in the teens, and it was on his mind all the time, in the back of his mind all the time. She had hooked up with some of his friends before. I totally get that.
See, I think even if it is a guy that has a body count of say 80, seeing a girl with a body count of something like 40, I think it still would play a part in how he viewed that relationship.
Possibly. Also, I just think they could understand it more, maybe conceptualize it a little better, because they've laid down with double as many people before, versus somebody who hasn't slept with 40 people is like, how could you even, lay down with 40 people? They can't even conceptualize it. Yeah. So
I also just would say though, I think you mentioned something about you think it's better for men to have maybe not an excessively higher body count, but you think it's better for men to have a bit more experience. Is that?
I'm saying a relationship will not work out if a woman has a higher body count than the man in the relationship. Yes.
I agree with that. Yeah. And is that just coming from the guy being less sexually experienced, basically? Is that kind of the angle?
It becomes insecure. The man cannot fathom the fact that the girl he's with has been touched by more men than he hasn't even touched them.
Not insecurity.
No, I'm not saying it's a wrong insecurity. I'm not saying it's not all insecurities are bad. It's an insecurity from the fact of that's not. He's not like that. He's not someone who's sexually promiscuous like that. So being with someone who's more sexually promiscuous as him, it's something that a lot of men cannot deal with. There's always going to be feathers ruffled.
Well, I also think when it comes to okay, hold on, I'll come back to it. Why body count matters. Condoms do not protect against genital herpes. Yep, 60 bodies equals 12 partners who are infected. 100 bodies equals you're likely infected. This is why they can't test for it in adult content. Years can go by without an outbreak, but you still spread it. Yeah, it's very true. Like, condoms do not necessarily, like, if you can get, I guess, an outbreak on your region that's not protected by condoms, so, and you don't want that. So, when it comes to like a gap in experience with sex, I would definitely say that a woman who's more sexually experienced than a man probably, I think most women would not want to teach a guy, like show a guy how to fuck them. Like a girl doesn't want to teach a dude, like women just want a guy to get it. Now I'm not saying that you shouldn't like have open communication, and if there's certain things you like I don't think we should treat men as mind readers. They're just going to instantly get everything. But I don't like, if a woman is with a really inexperienced guy sexually, I think she's just going to be like, it's going to be, you know, assuming she has sexual experience, it's going to be a turnoff for her. A woman doesn't want to show a guy, teach a guy how to fuck. Whereas like a guy who's with an inexperienced woman, like if you're a guy, you know how to lead, like assuming we're kind of going along, like if the guy's typically a bit more dominant in the bedroom, the woman's a bit more submissive, the guy is going to be able to lead the woman, and it's not going to be like, oh, you're inexperienced, this is a turn off. It actually may very well be neutral or just a turn on, if anything. So I think there's that component. Also, just I think coming back to what you said, or I forgot who was saying it, something about, was it you who's talking about like the why would a guy want to get with a woman who might not be good in bed or who's inexperienced even in a one-night stand? Was that?
I think that was me.
Oh, that was
also,
you.
side note, I was not laughing at anyone. I was
fully
reading the chat and they were very funny.
Oh, and actually we do have one more video that we're going to react to.
Okay.
Relax, lady. Okay. Don't worry, we're almost done here. So,
starving here.
and actually related to that though. So, what I would say, and it's another tape video, don't worry, it's brief. So what I would say is what matters more than a girl who sucks dick really well, because we've often had girls on the show like, oh, well, a woman who's not sexually experienced, who has a low body count, she's not going to be able to give you the Gluck 9000. Like, she's not going to know how to like maneuver her I don't know, her pelvis in a certain way to please you. It's like, no, that's bullshit. First, one, if you're a guy, you know how to lead. You like, if you have any sexual experience in the bedroom, you can lead a girl and you can make her good in bed pretty simply. Also, I think it's a girl who like, you know what matters more when it comes to that? It's not how good her head game is. It's a girl who loves you to death, who's your ride or die, who's going to have your back, who takes care of you just like you take care of her, who's going to be there through the good time, the bad time, et cetera, et cetera. And I'd just rather have a girl who truly loves me and I truly love her, and it doesn't like, okay, she doesn't suck dick the best. Who fucking cares? That's not a huge priority. One, you can learn. Two, again, if you're a guy and you can lead in the bedroom, you can have amazing sex with a girl who's sexually inexperienced. So, yeah, I don't know. Sex is not like this complicated. Actually, the tape articulates way better than me. Oh, it's a different video.
Donated $99. For the panel 1 by 1, would you date a person who had genital herpes?
Oh, God, okay.
What it does: 1.
We'll go through.
7x more likely to contract HIV. 2. Disclose to all future partners and facing likely rejection. 3. Taking antivirals for life. 4. Having to use herpes dating sites.
Oh, God. Well, number 2, definitely. I mean, I feel like dating is hard enough for men and women as it is.
Liam LA donated $100. Adam 22 has the worst life ever.
Yeah, thank you, Liam LA. We will read your other chats here too. We'll get to them in a sec. But so number 2 in Jay Butler's previous thing, saying disclose to all future partners and facing likely rejection. Look, for men and women dating relationships, it's hard enough as it is. Do not, if you're promiscuous, like there's a higher likelihood of you getting an STD. Like don't further handicap yourself and make it more difficult to find, you know, that long-term relationship or a boyfriend or even anything. Because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if a girl has herpes, I don't care how fucking beautiful she is. I don't care if she's way out of my league. I don't care how cool she is. Like if you have an incurable STD, that's just,
A wrap.
You could be a great person, but I don't.
It's a
That's
wrap.
I'm not going to
It's a
pursue that.
wrap.
So going around the panel, would you date a person who has the herp?
No.
Into the
I
mic?
would consider it
No.
when dating. Okay, this is probably going to sound dumb, but I think I would be more open to it if we were getting married, because my sexual like history, or like my sexual stance of having that, it wouldn't be an issue with future partners, because that is my partner
Yeah.
forever. So
But go ahead. Go ahead.
So
ahead.
if we were committed forever, I'd be okay with it. But if it was a temporary person, I would not risk it for my future people.
I'll
if
come
that
back.
makes
I
sense.
want to let everybody answer, but I will come back to that. What about you?
No.
No.
And same with same with her. Like, this could be your forever person. Let's say it's could be your forever person.
No.
No.
Into the mic. Yes. No.
No.
No. No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, it's no from me. I mean, here's the thing, right? You're young. You're an attractive girl. You're waiting.
Thank you.
Not waiting till marriage or.
No, I'm just waiting
You're
for.
waiting for the right person, but you're a virgin.
Yeah,
Right? I mean,
yeah.
I would argue that you have like a very great degree of romantic and sexual optionality. You don't need to. No offense to anybody who's got an STD, but you don't need to settle for somebody who. I mean, I assume you don't have anything either. Given your
Correct.
situation.
Correct.
Like, there's a lot of men out there that don't have herpes, and look, you're not going to die from it, but like, why? It is something that you can pass on to your child too. So I mean, that might be another thought process. I mean, I would say you have a lot of options. There's plenty of fish in the sea, you know?
Yeah. If it was like the love of my life, I would be more lenient.
But
It's not an instant no. Nobody ever in the whole entire world is all I'm saying.
But to me, I just think that for most people, that would preclude. It's just, you really want like a couple times a year. I don't know how often.
Okay,
Think about it before you answer. Like, how would it even play out, right? Because you aren't waiting to marriage. You're a virgin, but you're not waiting until marriage. This person's the love of your life, right? So, because they have genital herpes, are you now going to wait until marriage to sleep with them so you can solidify the fact that it's your forever? Because if you sleep with him before that happens, you could just up and leave. And you're also forgetting the fact that divorce is a possible
yeah.
thing. He
Good
could
point.
sleep with you, you could do that, and then he could just end up divorcing you. So it's like, is it something you want to put yourself in that predicament?
Okay, that was a very good point. I would say I wouldn't, unless it was a permanent situation, but realistically nothing is permanent because of breakups, divorce. So
Yep.
realistically the answer is no. But
There we go.
if somehow it was the love of my life
perfect
and we were
world.
guaranteed to be together forever, I would consider and like can be convinced to look past it.
In this scenario, though, it
I
sounds
mean-
like the only way this would happen is if he like lied to you or something, because it's like you.
Like if he never told me, then I got it, and then I'm like, we're
Because
stuck.
it's like what? Yeah, because it's like, what are you gonna? You're staying in forever, but it's like, so that means you're going to have to
There's
wait
a lot of
until
fish in the
marriage.
sea,
Then,
though.
yeah, like I don't.
There's not just a one.
Like, how
so
do
I
you know
mean-
it's forever until you're married?
Yes, that's why I'm saying it's unrealistic.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
nothing
just wanted you
is.
to make sure you.
It's a no, but love
Okay,
of my
okay.
life forever.
Nothing is